A cracking day stroke night of snooker, John.
Unbelievable day's play. From the first semi-final, which was just had one of the best frames ever seen and witnessed at the Crucible, to 16 all. And how he's turned this round from looking like he wanted the exit door. The last two frames have been unbelievable. Him at his absolute best. And Mark Selby's brain must be scrambled. I don't care who he is. He must be sitting there thinking, what has gone on here? Because he looked like he had his man, looked like he had him beat, and he's just produced two brilliant frames.
Well, the boys in commentary used that word, shell-shock, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, we're shell-shocked here, you know, because a complete transformation. Whatever he said to himself in the dressing room when he went out with 16-14, it certainly worked, because he's come out, you know, I mean, those last two frames couldn't get any better. I mean, the opening red, even in this last frame, was just ridiculous. I mean, have a look at this. Tied under the ball cushion.
Wow.
He couldn't have cued it any better. And he you know, it's just... Selby be sitting in his chair saying, what do I have to do against this guy? Because I had him, he had him, you know, and it wasn't like he let him off the hook. It's just Ronnie has just come out completely foreign. Incredible snooker.
I mean, who'd you pick in the last frame? I mean, does he carry on in the same vein? I mean, you'd be frightened to death to leave a red out.
But also, John, as Ken says, how many opponents throughout Ronnie O'Sullivan's career have found themselves in that position where you say, what more can I do?
Well, what more can you do? I've never seen a match like this with Ronnie. You've seen him play bizarre shots, but in a semi-final of a world champion, I don't think we've ever seen the likes of this ever on a semi-final day. And you know, if I was in Mark Selby's shoes, I'd just try and wait for a chance. But you know, you might not get it. You might be sitting in your chair. He's been sitting in his chair for the last two frames and hadn't hit a ball. So it's very hard to play against, but he's pulled it out of the bag so far.
And John, just whilst we're on that picture of Ronnie O'Sullivan, apologies for those people who heard this at the beginning of the tournament. I said that I've had the honour and the privilege of being at some of the world's biggest sporting events, but watching this fella in this type of mood is up there with World Cup finals, Six Nations matches, some of the greatest end to sporting matches I've ever seen. Watching him in full flow is like that.
Well, Tiger Woods at his absolute best, you know, which, you know, the absolute pinnacles and icons. And as the two players touch elbows in for a final frame, and all you want is a chance. Will you get one?
Here we go. Enjoy it.
Ronnie O'Sullivan gets the final frame of this semi-final underway.
I was going to say, Dennis, any predictions? Because I haven't got a single clue what's going to happen in this frame after what's gone on to date.
The only thing I can say is with the red going next to the black, it's not going to be an open frame just yet.
Selby, you would think we're hoping for a more tactical frame, but the kind of shot choices Ronnie's coming out with, he might not be allowed. He might not be able to get his way. Ronnie seems determined to just shake things up.
And straight away opens the black up. Didn't matter about the snooker, it was all about just clearing the black spot area there. It was always going to be an easy escape.
This is lovely if you're Karen Wilson, isn't it? He's already through the final. He says he's having a couple of beers, just sit back and watch these two suffer a decider, and he's already in the final.
Yes, I don't blame Karen for having a few beers after that semi-final. That was one of the greatest frames of snooker that I've ever witnessed at the Crucible. Has he gone too hard, or has he covered this? He's got the cover. We've had 3 final frame deciders in matches. Semi-final of the 2007 UK Championship, Ronnie won that 9-8. Final of the Welsh 2008, Mark Selby won that 9-8. And the final of the Masters 2010, Mark won that in the deciding frame 10-9. They've had some unbelievable matches down the years. Looks to be a straightforward safety shot down the right side of the table. Just concerned about pushing a red towards the left corner, but you just play the shot as you see it and make sure you get a good cue ball.
Well, it seems to be normal service resumed for this deciding frame. I was half expecting him to try and pot the red down the cushion there.
3 frames ago he would have had a go at that. Well, whoever wins this deciding frame will be able to have a lie-in in the morning before they commence the final. It starts at 1:30. But who's going to be in that final with Kyron Wilson? Fascinating to find out.
We've gone 7 minutes now without a ball being potted. Ronnie O'Sullivan made that century break in 7 minutes. Has Mark left the first opportunity? He has. Needs good cueing. Long straight pot. And it is
One.
good straight cueing. Beautiful shot. And that'll stun across for the red. It's on the black cushion, and if he gets a good angle in the black, see the 2 reds at the back of the putt, just through the gap there. If he can get the cue ball through that gap, well, they'll just split beautifully. Didn't want to catch the red in the way past, but he's still okay.
Eight.
You see the 2 reds closest to the black, the back of the bunch. You can get it through that gap. Oh,
Nice.
I think it was only because that was dead weight, but I don't think that was going in, that red. It's too much angle to find that gap here. But I think that'll do nicely. I mean, the cue ball actually had right hand side in it, but this didn't look in. Hmm.
17.
Well, going by the two previous frames, it's not looking good for Mark Selby.
Gone a little awkward here. You would have thought he was
24.
going to be nicely on his next red, but the cannon has just left things slightly awkward. Just an inch either way, and he was perfect there. That's a good recovery shot. That's a fabulous recovery shot. And what a chance he's given himself here. He's had breaks of 138 and 71 to level the scores. Mark Selby hasn't had a chance in the last 2 frames and a bit.
Well,
it looks a bit tight.
$29.
Well, there must have been
32.
a few, well, a lot of people watching the frames before these last 2.5 that thought, questioned Ronnie's desire and commitment to win this match, the shots he was playing.
33.
Can't question it now.
40. 41.
There's not another player in the game could have produced this sort of performance.
48.
Mark has beaten Ronnie on 2 occasions at the Crucible.
49.
Well, it's just unbelievable. Mark Selby hasn't had a
56.
chance in the last 3 frames.
That's the thing, to do these last,
57.
to 0 these last 3 frames the way he's done it. And he's just found a gear from somewhere.
It's a top gear he's found, that's for sure. One long straight pot up past the green into the corner. No, would you believe it? Would you believe it?
Ronnie
He
O'Sullivan,
was 2
64.
pots away from a place in the final.
Well, after what we've seen in the first semi-final today. Anything's possible, but if Mark Selby was to somehow do this, wow. Well, I would have seen everything today, I tell you. Frozen out for 2.5 frames. This would be the clearance of his life.
8. Nine.
There's a
16.
couple of reds are just a little awkward. Ronnie was 2 pots away from getting into the final there.
$17.
And a very key shot coming up. If he pots the pink, leaves an angle on that red to the left of it, he can bring the difficult red into play. Now he's got the perfect angle, but the only problem is we show you that pink wobble.
23.
When you move a red from potting a red, you need the white to come away from the cushion. And he's got the double kiss.
24.
It's not too bad, but there's an awful lot of pressure on this black.
Oh, this is a horrible shot to drop this black in.
And that's why Vicky there, I mean, she's watched all her husband's great wins here, but nothing quite like this. Right in the middle of the pocket.
$30.
Just planning his route to get to that difficult red to the left of the yellow.
Yeah, I think I'd probably try and come around the back of the black. Have 2 cushions, play the black into the left corner. If you go a little bit too far, you got pink to left middle.
And that's where he'd love to get the cue ball in a couple of shots time. Just about 12 to 18 inches from the red.
$31.
Well, I think he's okay. I think he can reach the green and get over behind that red. Might be a bit of a stretch. He's coming around to have a look at the blue. The green's a much easier pot. So it's back to the green. Wow, the tension, even though there's no one in the crucible, is quite something.
Now, do you play 2 cushions in behind the red? Or 1 cushion. He's gone to 2 cushions, but he's not played it well. He's got into the cue ball too much. That's end of break.
34.
£30 points the difference. Ronnie just needs the red. Mark needs the lot.
Mark Selby, 34.
Just be playing this dead weight. Just to land on the red. 3 times former champion on a deciding frame, 17 frames to 16. Unbelievable.
What a comeback from 16-14.
Yeah, to be honest with you, for 3 days I've just been trying to look for a cue action where I can hit the ball sort of straight, half straight, you know what I mean? It was just like, it's like a golfer just being in the rough every time off the tee, and you just got to like chip it out, chip on the greens, try and find something from somewhere. And I've been trying to do that for like, I don't know, like 15 days now, and it's just, it gets tiring in the end because, you know, you just want to just be able to just find a little slot where you can just strike the ball and, you know, where it's sliding nicely. But me, it's like a seesaw, you know, it's like it's going all over the gaff. And then I'm watching him cue up, and he's just got the perfect setup, the perfect stance. He's locked in, rock solid. Don't look like he's going to miss. And I'm like, I'm having to play that for 3 days. So I just tried to make the score look respectable because, you know, I was just, you know, you can see by some of my play it wasn't great, you know.
But it was a tremendous position to come back from. We're used to seeing him as the comeback king, but this was your turn to do it to him.
Yeah, well, I started standing. I started to get my left hip a little bit nearer the table, so it kind of felt me a little bit more engaged with the table. So I thought there's no point looking for a cue action there at 16-14. You're a million. So I thought just try and stand a little bit closer to the table, and that kind of helped my timing out a little bit. I was still hitting them fat, thick, and cutting across it and scooping it. But I just thought, you know what, as long as I'm getting a decent connection, then I've got a half a chance of the ball going in the hole, you know. So, but yeah, it was just all I got lucky, really, I suppose.
Well, some luck, but I mean, you played so well in those last few frames. How satisfying to beat the man who denied you the 6th title in 2014? To
be honest with you, I'm just more interested in the cue action. You know, I'm looking at the cue action. I'm thinking, if you can get a cue action, then you got half a chance. You know, like whoever you play. You know, and even if I did have a good cue action, then you know it'd still be a tough match against Mark because you know you just drive him to play better. I think I kind of just dragged him down, really, to be honest with you, to my level. So yeah, I think like all players be the same. Like all golfers and snooker players are the same. We just want to find the perfect swing, the perfect action. And if you got that, then you know you just enjoy playing. But when you ain't got good action, mate, it's proper tough graft.
But how much are you now relishing being back in the World Championship final? It's the ultimate match.
No, like I said, it all goes back to the cue action. If you can find that little slot where you're cueing the ball nicely and you're going through the middle, you know, that's snooker. You know, all this sort of World Championships and all that. To me, it's you know, you ask any snooker player, any golfer, they'll say the same. You know, it's all about the action. If you've got a decent action, then you'd enjoy playing in the basement somewhere on your own. You know, it's just a beautiful game played beautifully. But when it's not being played beautifully, it's a nightmare.
But snooker's about great stories as well, and this is your chance to join Reardon and Davis.
I believe it's about the cue actions. You know what I mean? I'm not buying into these stories and world titles, and it's all about. I'm into cue actions. You know, I bought the Joe Davis book and I started reading it. And if you want to go and read it yourself, he'll tell you it's all about the cue action. And he's the father of snooker. As far as I'm concerned, he talks the same language as me, and I need to get a cue action from somewhere. I mean, I might go on Amazon later and see if Bezos can deliver me one tomorrow. They're quite good on their ASAP on their deliveries, aren't they?
Yeah, maybe not quite that quick. Just finally, will you enjoy it, do you think, tomorrow?
Well, if I can find a cue action from somewhere, then I'm going to love it. But if I can't find a cue action, it's just going to be like more like in the fairway, chip out, see what you can do. You know, it's all about the cue action, mate. You know, everything comes cue action first, and everything else is just a bonus.
Well, even if you're not quite looking forward to it, we are. Well done tonight.
I'm sure you'll enjoy it.